All right, for the 40-yard dash, you want to coach them up on the start is the most important thing. You don't want guys rolling through or just kind of jumping the start. You want to get as most accurate. So what we usually do, we get guys to hold their stance for a 3 count before they go, just to make sure everybody's ready with their watch. You'll have a guy positioned at the 10s, the 20s, and then the 40s, just to get all those 3 measurements. And when they're running, as far as the timing goes, there's a little bit of gray area as far as what you record, but for the most part, everybody usually does the hips whenever they cross through the line is when you stop the watch. And so a lot of guys will stumble out of their start. That's when you give them the benefit of the doubt. You stop them, and then you bring them back and give them a restart. Other guys will pull up before the 40. That's on them. You just let that one go and say, hey, you tell them that they need to run through the line on their second attempt. And if they don't do it, then you just let it go. And then as far as the start goes, obviously everybody knows what the sprinter stance looks like. It's the 3-point stance, and then they go. Any question on the 40? Go for it, Brett.
Yeah, same kind of deal, Josh. Is how do guys try to cheat it? And then, what do you have to look out for to make sure they don't cheat it at the start?
Yeah, so like I was getting back to having guys hold their stance for at least a 3 count before they go. Guys will try to jump their start, be as quick as they can. They'll try to jump the clocks to make sure like people are starting their clocks late to give them the extra 0.2 or 3 seconds they need. Other guys will roll through it to try to get half their body past the line before they pick their hand up and go. Usually when guys pick their hand up, that's when everybody starts their clock. So most guys will try to roll it and get most of their momentum and body past the line before they actually start. Other than that, it's not really, it's kind of it's a tough drill to cheat, so to speak, just because, I mean, everybody, this is what most scouts are trained up on. This is one of the most important features from testing day for scouts to record. So it's not impossible to cheat, but it's almost hard as far as, because you've got a starter that stands down with guys that are like specifically eyeballing whether or not they're rolling and trying to jump the watches and all that different stuff.
And then, Josh, if let's say the scout is in charge of the setup of the 40, can you explain why it's kind of set up down the hash here to create that hallway?
It's more so for the runner to help them stay on that straight line, and just kind of helps everybody with their eyes as far as keeping on track and knowing when they're about to approach the line, and just kind of their keys on when to get ready to hit the watch.
And Josh, obviously the camera's here to provide the best as possible without the scout being there. But can you talk to them about when you're live recording the 40 as a scout, where you ideally would like to be positioned, and then kind of what you're looking for to start your clock, and then where your head goes to finish your clock, etc.
So depending on where you're at as far as the 10s, the 20s, or the 40s, you want to be right on that line. Ideally, depending on the number of scouts, you want to be right at the cone. So if you're looking at these, those are laser tested for the 10s and the 20s. So you would ideally be where those lasers are and just staring at the line. 40s, you want to be as close to it as possible, but what our techniques have been for pro days, just because there's such a large number of us, we all stand on that line with our chests facing the runner, and then just kind of peeking over our shoulder so we're not obstructing anybody's view. And as far as the start goes, we go off their first movement. So if most of the time it's been coached as soon as they pick their hand up, but that's why the roll has kind of gone out of it, because everybody starts off their first movement, they hit their clock, and we're watching him run down and keying on those certain things. And as soon as they get close to the line is where most scouts will turn and stare at the line until they see their hit, run through it, and then they'll stop their clock.
Excellent. Thanks.
Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, thanks again. You made a comment a minute ago about them starting in a 3-point stance. Is that
Mhm.
a must? And the reason why I asked that is I could have swore I saw a ton of video this past season with a number of guys at the combine not starting in a 3-point stance.
No. So the 3-point stance is the official start. Everybody has to start from that 3-point sprinter stance. Different guys load into it different ways. It annoys some scouts about how guys warm themselves up and how much time they take before they get into their stance. But basically, it's the same staggered sprinter stance. Whatever dominant hand you are is down on the ground. The other one's up in the air. And then you hold that for that 3 count before you go.
Okay, thanks.
Next question. I think it was Aldo.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to ask in terms of what are like the biggest mistakes when you are taking the time, because we all know that the media always has these great times, but most of the time the NFL scouts don't trust those times. So what are those mistakes so we can avoid doing them?
It's all just as far as like the TV times versus scout times. It's all just trusting themselves more than TV times. A lot of TV times too, they're not as close as some of the scouts are, so they can be skewed a little bit. But I think the biggest problem with some scouts and their timing is a lot of stopwatches have sound. And so if someone jumps the start or if someone hits their clock early before the guy runs, it'll trick some other scouts in the area into hitting their watch. And that's more or less, it's just having to be focused on you and the runner and just trying to, I guess, eliminate all the other noise and any other kind of distractions. And if you try to see, we didn't do a great job of it in this one, but behind the runner, you would like to keep that area clear just so it doesn't catch any distraction in your peripherals when the guy's running. And that's just another thing of trying to keep out as many distractions as possible.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Brett.
In addition to, you want to talk to me about what finger to use when they're clicking, and then any tricks too, Josh, for like where to position your eyes in relationship to that finger you're using, and just kind of tricks to the trade to try to minimize some of that human error that you're talking about right now.
Yeah. So what I do, I use my index finger. For most scouts, that's just the easiest thing to do, and that's how I usually hold the watch. Just have my index finger on that stop-start button. A lot of guys, depending on preference, how they do it, they'll want the watch in their line of vision with the line. So when they're staring at the 40-yard line, they're also staring at their watch. And as soon as that player runs past their line of sight, they hit it like that and then just get their key number. Other guys trust themselves to where they don't have to have it in their line of sight. And then I've seen some guys that just go above and beyond and kind of try to exaggerate it with how they're doing it. If you've ever seen Charlie Casserly try to time somebody, he lines it up like a gun or like a shotgun and tries to do whatever. But it's all just about personal preference and whatever the scout feels most comfortable with. If you want to get scientific about it, obviously your index finger on your dominant hand is the most predominant digit you have, so it's going to be the quickest and the most responsive.